he gets bored, and so he sits in his lab and does
Hello! Welcome back to another fabulous episode of Blurcast. This week we are discussing Age of Ultron. We just came from watching it, so spoilers, guys. We're going to talk about everything that was in the movie.
If you haven't seen it yet, don't listen to this.
Really don't, though. Like, it's amazing, and you need to see it. And if you hear us talk about it first, it's not gonna be as amazing because you won't
be worthy.
You won't get to live through it for the first time. All right. Well, do you want earplugs? Because Jay hasn't seen the movie. Jay's not recording with us. Do you want some earplugs?
Hi guys, I'm in the background. Huh?
Do you want some earplugs?
No.
I'll give them to you anyway.
I'm gonna go rewatch Game of Thrones and be angry about it.
Okay.
Okay. Bye guys.
Bye. Today with us in the living room, couch surfing across the multi-Marvel verse.
Oh god.
We have with us once again Princess Megatron. Hi.
Oh, what's up?
Hey. We have Kit back.
Howdy.
Hello, Kit. And we have joining us for the first time Connor. Hey, Connor.
Hello.
Let's all wave at the microphone like you can see us.
Ah! Waving.
We literally all just waved at the microphone.
It's awesome. So yeah, this was all of us have now seen it twice. Connor, you've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
So
He
clearly
probably doesn't like it very much.
Clearly,
Not
we
at
thought it
all.
was good enough to spend money on it multiple times.
So yes.
So
it is that fantastic?
I think obviously our initial impression was awesome.
Yes.
I think as the end of Phase 2 of Marvel, it was ultimate. It was perfect. It really rounded out all the characters nicely. We got to see all of them interacting again like we did in the first Avengers, and then they kind of went their separate ways a little bit for a couple of movies there, but then coming back and reuniting and seeing all of the character interplay and how it's just kept developing. Like this movie, like even in the Avengers, they kind of had to establish character a little bit for the people who maybe hadn't seen Captain America or hadn't seen Thor. In this, everybody is clearly defined as a character. You know who they are, and so you really get to delve into them more and find out a bit of their background and what they're scared of, which
that's a big part of like showing somebody's true side there. Like what are they afraid of?
Can I just say Captain America wasn't really scared of anything?
No, he really wasn't. That was
Yeah.
He's just forlorn and sad about his past.
Yeah.
His dark side is really just
He wishes he could go back a little bit.
yeah.
He missed out on his life.
He missed the buck.
Oh,
That
was terrible.
Yeah, we went there.
That was good.
But yeah, he's not scared of anything.
Oh man, when I'm groaning, it's bad.
Or good.
Or good. Very, very good. I don't know. What stood out to you most, Kit?
I just really, really liked how much screen time they still managed to give all the people, because there is a huge ensemble in this movie of A-list actors that are all like, gotta get my screen time, and they all managed to play really distinct roles. Everybody had memorable lines.
Except for Falcon. I feel like he was underplayed.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. Falcon was kind of teased in the party scene, and then they put him in at the end, but they didn't really utilize him against Ultron at all.
And Black Panther should have had a cameo.
Black Panther should have been included in this movie. I feel like that was teased very early in all of the screenshots and images that like were released as early press media for the movie. They were like, oh, and then there's this scene that's gonna have a dark Black Panther tie-in, and it was like, well, maybe it's not actually Black Panther, but maybe it's his sister. But they
at least he's confirmed for Civil War.
He is completely confirmed for Civil War, which I'm very much excited about, having now seen early production photos that were leaked today of Crossbones.
I haven't seen those yet. What?
Oh yeah, they just came out.
I need a computer like now.
Yeah, we could maybe pull some up here. I I think,
Oh,
of
we
course,
don't
the
have to do it,
big
like,
moment,
right now, but,
the
like-
big moment for everybody was Vision.
Yes.
Obviously, the newest member of the Avengers that they're introducing.
I think Captain America was the biggest moment, honestly.
You really like Captain America. As we maybe have stated before.
So
You know, maybe.
There was when we went to it the first time, our friend Nick had some criticisms about the movie, such as he didn't like the Black Widow Hulk relationship. He was definitely not fond of that, and the word that was bandied around was that she's a slut and that she has been in relationships in every movie. Like,
I don't think.
the way he phrased it was, in Iron Man 2, it was like for Iron Man, for Avengers it was with Hawkeye, for Cap 2 it was with Captain America, and now in the second Avengers it's with Hulk. And it's
I don't think they were saying she was a slut. I think it's just that the directors couldn't decide which character worked the best with her, and they had to pair her up, which is on the director's fault, you know?
Honestly,
Not
I
the
just
character.
I feel like a lot of people see women played in action movies and they just see I'm close to this person that's the romantic interest.
Right.
It's hard for me because I'm looking back at Avengers and I don't see any romance between her and Hawkeye. I see we have this really close bond,
friendship, yeah.
and if it weren't for him, I'd be dead right now.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
to me that screams best friend, not I'm fucking you. Oh, sorry,
Dead of
language.
honor. No, that's
like
fine.
the whole like.
I don't give a fuck.
Remember,
Cap doesn't like those words.
I got it.
I guess we're not going to touch that. Like, yeah, and it's like, the whole remember Budapest thing. Like, we live in this society in which, like, the relationship, like, there's not a lot of best friend relationships between opposite genders and things like that. Like, you just don't see that. You're starting to see that become more prevalent. We don't see that
I
as much.
experienced that.
So, like,
my best friend's a girl, but
So, like, yeah, same here. So it's like you get one of those things where it's just like, you guys a couple? Like, how are you doing? Things
Yeah,
like that.
it's like-
It's awkward.
No, I definitely.
Single people.
They're definitely like her roommate asked her, "It's like, so what do you guys have, like a marriage pact? Like when you get certain? No, we're just really best friends.
Yeah, just,
That's
we've known each other for
absolutely
like
it.
a long time. We know
Yeah.
like that.
You're
So
both not single.
Yeah,
yeah.
Single girls cannot be friends with single guys. It doesn't work.
So,
It never works.
I
I
don't know,
mean,
I've done
we
pretty
were
well. Like,
we were both single at the same time, and then not.
Yeah, but you're not-
Anyway, we're just not. We're not. We
So
don't have any
clearly
romance.
We need to do a gender relations episode.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
But I felt like all of this was like addressed with the one line from Rogers. It's like, I've seen her flirt up close. This isn't that, and that completely deals with any confusion people might have been having.
And it was still a hard sell. I
The
didn't
whole
buy it.
movie, she's trying to hook him up with other people.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and then like there's the one kiss, but that was literally just a distraction. It was like that was a tactical decision that helped them escape.
And with Tony there, he's a self-described billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Yeah.
So what is going to best play to that sort of like ego and that sort of mindset than the pretty girl who happens to show some semblance of interest, but something a little
Gonna
bit
bat
more
her
than
eyelashes.
his like intellectual interest. So
Right.
like, Fury was just like, all right, well, Romanoff, here you go. Like,
Yeah, like she's the super secret agent. Like
Yeah.
she's the best at what she does, so she gets a lot of these missions, and one of the tools that she has against male opponents or targets is her sexuality, and she uses
I
that.
feel like they didn't need to pair her up at all. It would have been better
This
if
is
they
true.
hadn't. That she didn't. She's an equal member, not a love interest. None of the other ones. I mean, their love interests are not in the Avengers.
Yeah.
You know.
But
And
Jane's the best.
But she's the girl, and she has to be sexy and.
But Jane is the best.
Jane's better.
Pepper runs a multinational corporation. She's too busy to come and cameo in this movie.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee can make all the time in the world to
Excelsior.
get drunk on Asgardian mead.
I do want to point out, no one else managed, like, they were all frozen, and he's walking away.
Yeah. Oh.
He's something
He's a little
special.
worthy.
Yeah, it's a little bit worthy. What's the meme? if Stan Lee cameos in the Deadpool movie, Deadpool's gonna recognize him.
Yes.
Like
that would actually be like canon in a way. Like,
oh, it absolutely would, because Deadpool, one of his quirks is that he breaks fourth wall on a regular basis,
which makes it all that much better.
There was a time where he did a crossover with the Punisher, and the Punisher's like, "Oh, why do you get all the glory kills?" And he's like, "Well, this is my book." And the Punisher's like, "Book?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it, dude."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta say, amazing acting for Ultron. Just all the lines and the way it was portrayed, just that like childish confusion, like a child trapped in an adult's body.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really well played off.
I think my first impression from the movie, seeing it the first time, was the humor. And Ultron being kind of funny and, you know, having that sort of...
glib sarcasm.
Yeah. Being sort of evil Tony Stark in a way.
Yeah.
With the same sort of funniness. I don't know. That's what struck me. Was like, this movie was funny. I walked away from it going like, there were so many quotable lines. Like, that was really funny.
Oh, yeah. Like, and are we just not going to touch the fact that, like, Hawkeye, like, activated dad mode and just, you know... I got a very Malcolm Reynolds, like, vibe off of him for a little while. Like, you know, this is my crew. Like,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I may not be the most important member, but, like, here I am to help tie them all together. Like, you got a job, we'll get it done. Kind of.
I think that was the best line of the movie. We're in a war. We're fighting robots. I've got a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
The city is flying. We're fighting metal robots, and I have a bow and arrow. Like, none of this makes sense.
Yes. That line and the one where Ultron goes, and now this is where I tell you my evil plot. Like, I feel like it was very, like,
yeah, absolutely,
self-aware that it's a superhero movie.
Yeah,
and Whedon's just in the background, like he.
Oh yeah, Whedon definitely had a great time making this film. You can tell because it's a great movie. Obviously, one of the huge things that has been talked about is how he fought for the scene where, everyone's calling it Thor takes a bath. And essentially, that's really all we see.
The Thor shirtless scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Muscles.
I would not take him out of bed. I'm just saying.
But that scene was supposed to be a lot longer. It was supposed to feature a couple of Loki bits. Right. It's supposed to tie into the Norse myth of the Norns, which are the Vikings' oracle, so to speak, the future telling seers, and it was supposed to have a lot more with the Infinity Stones,
right,
and how that ties into Vision's character, because otherwise he just kind of goes off, takes a bath with Eric Selvig, watching him, and then flies back and zaps some random science coffin that he doesn't really know anything about.
Hey, what happens in the pool stays in the pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was definitely something I paid more attention to watching it a second time. Was that scene and how Thor's like, no, it was real, and you're like, no, dude, she's just fucking with you. But then you watch it closer the second time, and you get the glimpse of the Infinity Stones, and you get the
yeah, there was a flash of the four stones that we've seen so far, which are the Tesseract, the Space Gem, the Ether, which I believe is the Reality Gem, the Yellowstone, which was confirmed in this movie to be the Mind Gem, and then the Purple Stone, which was the Power Gem we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. They even had it bursting out of the orb that it was stored in.
And you see the Tesseract break apart. You see the liquid from coalesce into an actual gem.
And you do see the yellow one burst out of the
Loki scepter.
The housing that was the scepter stone.
Yep. I also just like how they let Thor have that moment, and that because he always comes off as being like the pretty dumb one.
Yeah.
Like,
he seemed a lot more aware this time around.
He's definitely picking up.
He's on another level.
Earth habits.
Yeah. That people don't that the rest of the team can't understand because he's from such an advanced society that like rules this sort of universe. thing.
Well, you see the scene where Romanoff's trying to console Banner, and she looks over, and he gets it the moment she gives him the, like, death glare.
Yeah.
Or not the death glare, but the,
because she's
really
like,
guy?
Thor, report in on the Hulk. And Thor's like, the gates of hell echo with the screams of his victims. And then Banner's like, no, I didn't want to kill anyone. And Widow gives him that glare, and he's like, more like whimpering and soft moans of bruised ribs and gout.
Sprained deltoids.
Sprained deltoids. That was such a good line.
What do I do?
And I love the bromance that happened with Captain America. And we were saying this earlier.
Yeah.
That we got Iron Man and Hulk in the last one. I'm sorry, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner.
Yeah, they have their science-y love fanboy thing, which we got a whole montage of that while they were trying to
We're scientists.
Yeah, they're trying to set up the Ultron program, and then they fall short, and then somehow it the Mind Stone being the basis of their program kind of takes that extra step and jumps in.
But yeah, Thor and Cap, I thought their banter and their teamwork when they were fighting was so well done.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
the way
Like,
they played
were so in tune with the banging on the hammer on the shield.
You mentioned his hammer. Don't mention his hammer. He loves his hammer.
They're lining up. They're overeager.
Yeah.
And then hammer to shield, and you get the concussion blast just knocking over all the Hydra agents.
Explosions
Yeah.
everywhere. Like,
And I feel like those, I don't know. I mean, they're all such strong personalities. The fact that they can work so well as a team is like it really, you get that, especially in the opening scene.
Oh, absolutely. The opening scene, we like the big moment in the first Avengers movie is when you see everybody kind of join up in the square beneath Stark Tower, and like you see all of them suited up together fighting at the same time for the first time. You'd seen a couple of them partner here and there, but it was the first time the team assembled. In the second movie, they throw that scene in the first minute and a half, I think, like before you see all of them leaping into action. I think it's when Black Widow crashes the Jeep, and then she and Hawkeye leap out, and then everybody's like crossing over the enemy lines.
I'm surprised it's not a poster yet.
No,
Like,
that was the
poster.
trailer moment. That was the trailer moment, and that was in the first scene.
I just want like a poster of like Black Widow like flying and like kicking a Nazi Hydra like in the face, like that right there. Just her, like that would be like fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like,
Cap throwing the motorcycle at the oncoming Jeep, just like, okay, I'm gonna throw a motorcycle. Okay, all right.
Speaking of Black Widow and Cap's motorcycle, she got the short end of the stick with the line of toys that they released.
Lego.
They put out the motorcycle with Cap's shield on it, and they put Cap on the motorcycle, which makes a certain sense because it's his shield, but
Sort of his thing though.
Right,
He
but
rides a motorcycle.
But this in this movie with like the specific Age of Ultron motorbike, Widow rides it with the shield.
And that's like her scene. That's like the badass moment right there in that particular setting, in which it's like Widow's.
So I feel like they could have just done that justice and been like, you can sell the accessories to one toy with another action figure. Because, I mean, they've been doing that in the movies. They sold us Black Widow in Iron Man 2. They sold us Hawkeye in Thor. Yeah. And that's how they showed up in the Avengers. So why not sell the toys with her action figure? Anyway.
Because what if you want Captain America and his motorcycle, but you don't really care about having the Black Widow action figure?
See, you're one of the few girls who would actually prefer to have Cap. There's a lot of girls out there who want to have a Black Widow action figure,
She's
and
cool.
They haven't even made that many of them. Like, if you buy the full set of the Avengers toys, it does not include Black Widow.
Does it have Hawkeye? Because I haven't.
It doesn't have Hawkeye either. He
like,
also gets shafted.
I mean, they had the
arrow joke.
What is it? The like you have what do they call it? It's like the power pack or something like that. They talked about it in S.H.I.E.L.D. where they were showing the characters, and it was just the Hulk, Cap, Iron Man, and Thor as the toys sitting there when Mike, the centipede experiment dude.
The
Deathlock.
Mike who becomes Deathlock.
Yeah, the Deathlock there.
I forget his
Mike,
last name.
Starts with P. Patterson.
Mike Patterson.
Peters. Isn't
Peters.
it Peters?
Patterson?
Peterson?
Mike
Peterson.
Peterson.
Something like
We
that.
got there.
Mike. Well, Deathlock. We're gonna go with that. But like, he's looking at like the toy store with his son. He's like, I'm gonna buy you all of those, and it doesn't show Cap or Black Widow.
Or it doesn't show Hawkeye or Black Widow.
Hawkeye or Black Widow. So
I feel like in the show canon, that kind of makes sense because Hawkeye and Black Widow are both S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and they probably weren't. They were probably like hushed up a bit more because S.H.I.E.L.D. wanted to remove their involvement from the incident in New York. So for continuity in show, that makes sense. But if you're gonna have the lineup of the toys, you should have all of them.
And I mean, I've seen like the Wolverine mask and stuff like that back from the comic books that came out when I was like a kid, or even when my like parents were kids. Like, and I'm seeing those, and those aren't even referenced anymore. Like, I'm seeing like the old cartoon masks and stuff like that they aren't even on TV.
Right,
or even
and you
the
can
comic
still
books
buy
aren't even,
that.
like, I mean, I don't even know if the comics are still printed with that. Like,
like
uniform
Wolverine
and
still
everything.
has
he still has that.
black and yellow.
Doesn't exactly have a costume though. It's harder to.
Just has a leather suit.
Although with all the cool like Tron like LED stuff going on with it, like that was really cool. Like, I want that suit. Like,
her whole suit's electrified.
With a Tron LED suit. You know
this
what
could
I
be
mean?
true, but like I don't know, the batons there, like the Daredevil batons,
cool.
like that worked really well.
Yeah,
like, I just
seamless.
Get up. Yeah.
What did her new suit do other than glow blue and look
It
like
hid her pregnancy really well.
It did. She was pregnant for most of that filming, which was impressive that they were able to.
It wasn't it like they had to do a lot of her scenes like really early on.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, baby bump.
Yeah. They did a lot of shooting early. Anything that they kind of had to put her in later, you'll see her silhouette or from boobs up.
Yeah.
Or from the back.
Or from the back, or from the straight on, like completely straight on.
Yeah.
So that you can't see the side view at all.
Okay, well I wasn't talking reality. Like
I was just trying to be funny. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, Cap did too. Cap had a better suit.
Upgraded. Like,
Yeah,
Hulk's
I think it's
stretched.
probably better body armor.
I
goes
felt
a little
like
bit more.
There's this one part where they're fighting on the ship where like she just grabs onto one guy's shoulder and like jumps to the air and like kicks another guy in the face, and it looked like almost like on her ankles was like some form of like propulsion, like her like she was able to like swing around faster. I don't know. It was just something I
like she did,
barely saw.
Like shock absorbers is sort of what.
Yeah, something that made it look like her suit was like able to work with her body, not like.
Yeah, it definitely had like knee pad elements and like elbow pad elements.
Super nerds would know something about it.
Again, like this is where Widow doesn't get a lot of the attention because she's a girl for some reason, and so
Girls rule.
Yeah, they don't talk about it as much.
Boys rule.
I thought Scarlet Witch was a great character in this.
Yes.
Obviously, I think there was at least 3 foreshadowing moments where we saw that Pietro Quicksilver was gonna die, where they were just kind of like, he might not be around.
Yeah.
And
no one will miss him.
Yeah, gonna miss him. I saw Ultron sitting on him. It was a great line.
Like, I'm gonna miss him. Like, quick little bastard.
Yeah.
Sorry, language.
Cap doesn't like it when you use those words.
Just slipped out.
You kiss your mother with that mouth?
About what you just mentioned, I think this is like a really good point of them lowering the power level of the Avengers for the next set. I think one of the big problems of why Hawkeye and Black Widow can't get much attention is because how do you compare a mere mortal that's really talented at a mortal talent with somebody in a flying metal suit with superpowered technology and can virtually live through ever because they have a reactor for a heart?
Yeah.
Or literal god of thunder, or, you know, somebody who's been exposed with gamma radiation and turns into the Ultimate Fighter. Like, you can't really compare those people that well. So the new line of Avengers, you'll notice that they're all more in the Black Widow type thing. They're really talented at, like, a narrow area. Yeah. So that they can actually form a cohesive team instead of, I'm just really powerful, I'm going to put you next to someone really powerful.
Right. Yeah, and so that's definitely the angle they're playing going into Captain America Civil War. We're going to see the next Avengers lineup, which is going to have Cap and Black Widow carry over, Falcon, War Machine, Vision, and Scarlet Witch. I feel like this was definitely Marvel's first. I mean, they kind of explained it with science, but the Scarlet Witch canonically is a magic mutant. Like, her mutant ability edges on magic. And so this was kind of like Marvel's first test run at what the magic's going to look like for things like Doctor Strange.
Scarlet Witch is, like, super powerful.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're definitely going to build up her skills and her character.
Well, there was a moment when Pietro died where she felt like the resonance, because they're twins, so obviously she
and she's a mind reader.
Yeah.
You know they're connected.
So she felt it, and she just broke down in absolute
well, in her words, she died.
Yeah, like, she had a part of her broken off, and we saw in that moment that her powers were the most strong, that they're definitely tied to her emotions, similar to the Hulk, where her rage and sorrow were powerful enough to, without giving it any direction, just crush a bunch of the Ultron bots.
Yeah, vaporize. I'm gonna go with
vaporize. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't like directed at anything. Like, her hands were by her side, like you see throughout the, like, guy really focused on hands a lot. I think that was
there are a lot of
hand shots, like hand models were going nuts.
Fetish.
Like, but like she's always doing something with her hands, like flicking her fingers. I mean, you guys can't see it, but like I'm totally mimicking.
Yeah,
this.
well, and in
so,
the comics,
yeah.
she makes gestures and bends certain fingers and kind of does,
but
like, the rock symbol.
Yeah, and like you just see her hands drop.
Probably
and,
just
like,
a way to
that
focus.
Just like
right.
right from her. Like,
Yeah, and direct the energies. But without that direction, it's just destructive force that emanates from her and radiates outwards.
But she didn't destroy the building. She only destroyed the Ultron bots.
Huh.
Right, so it's like
it
this.
It wasn't like a bomb. It wasn't a blast.
Well,
it was directed.
I mean,
was just
the building was real. The robots were CG. So, meh. But also, if we're gonna explain this,
Deadpool.
if we're gonna explain this from the story point of view, like, she's hanging on to that little bit of humanity, like
I just think she knows who to blame. She knows exactly who to blame.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's not blameless.
Ultron did
ultimate hatred.
Literally, he did kill Pietro because he stole the Quinjet and he was firing at Hawkeye, and then Pietro pushes Hawkeye out of the way and saves him. So
I bet those bullets were Stark's.
I mean,
ouch! Oh man, that stinks.
like, oh my god.
Ah, fucker.
got him in the end.
Just can't get away from it.
Do you notice that those two, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, are the only two that have never had their alias names mentioned in the films? Like, everyone else, when they're introduced, they have their names mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, we even have Thanos mentioned, and he's not even the main villain in any of the individual films yet. But they never got their code names. But we have Falcon already. They mentioned his name.
Yep.
War Machine. He refers to himself in the third person.
They
all
say
the time.
Witch, but they don't say Scarlet Witch.
I don't even think
And
they
at
ever
no
called
point
her
do they.
a witch. Called her weird.
Stark says it when he's trying to calm Banner down when they've got the Veronica scene with the
I see.
Hulkbuster.
Don't let that little witch get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're smarter than her. You're stronger than her. You're Bruce Banner.
Okay, no mentioning
Right,
puny
no
Bruce Banner.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and I guess the Witch, and then that part there with Barton, where he's just like, quick little bastard, like
that's as much as you get. But yeah, they don't explicitly say Quicksilver or Scarlet Witch. Ultron obviously was named ahead of time. His original design in the comics is actually a take from Ant-Man, because Hank Pym is the one who originally designs the Ultron program and builds the first Ultron 1. In this, they obviously redid it so that it's Bruce Banner and Tony Stark who are creating the AI. And the design elements come from the fact that they're using the Chitauri crystal. And then after the Avengers beat the Iron Legion bots that Ultron had taken over from Stark Tower, the remaining robots that he begins to build his collection from are left over from the Chitauri. And so that's how they kind of explain away his face shape. I really
He's got speakers where his mouth is.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
like, and how the mouth moved, he's striving for this, to create the body, to make himself
more human, and
that's a human evolution.
That was
so
one of his first lines. Was "Where's my where am I?
Where's my body?
Where's my?" And you're left to fill in. He's looking for his body, and Jarvis is like, "You are an AI. This is weird. This feels wrong." That's his first reaction, is that he doesn't have a body, and that doesn't feel right to him.
Right, and so his robot suit, the facial, the fact that you could even see, kudos to the animators there for actually putting in the servo motors, you can see them in the close-up shots,
the little armor plating that form his lip.
Yeah, his facial expressions made up of the couple of different plates to move around.
And it works that there's a central node which houses the main processing power of Ultron, and then he'll have his Ultron bots, which are basically just pre-programmed extensions of himself. They're communicating information to him, but he's primarily housed in one unit at a time.
Right.
And so that's how they're able to
kick his ass.
Yeah, kick his ass.
Oh, I'm sorry, language.
And then Vision.
Kiss your mother with that mouth.
I feel like we should be calling each other out. I like how we're all calling ourselves out in these moments.
Sorry, it slipped out. Yeah, the fact the whole movie is extremely true to the comic books, with just minor tweaks to make it fit in for the movie universe, which obviously they've established that the cinematic universe is going to be disparate from the comic books. Right. But being introduced to Ultron in the first, in his first original, I guess, self-made body, we see him draped in a tapestry, and that comes right out of the comic books. Kosnia, the country where he literally rips a huge chunk of the city out of the ground, and
City's flying. City's flying.
The city's flying. Yeah, his extinction level desires to wipe out humanity, so there's a fresh start.
Sokovia's going for a ride.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done a little better with the science on that one too. Just dropping a big rock on the Earth isn't going to annihilate billions. It takes a while. It's the dust blotting out the sun. It's all the surface life dying. It's the heat. The temperature changes. It's extreme global warming very quickly. But still very quickly is years.
And
We're talking. So it's not instantaneous bomb blows up, kills everyone. And I felt like that was just unless you've studied extinction, the dinosaurs, whatnot, Which, meteorite hit the Earth and the dinosaurs went extinct. Like, that's about as far as they got in this movie. I feel like they could have done a little better job.
Well, I agree with that. I definitely think they could. I think the symbolism was pretty powerful, and
yeah,
I think they already had to cut out a huge amount of stuff.
Oh, I know. That's nitpicking.
No, I agree with you.
I also feel like while not necessarily a lot of people, it wouldn't necessarily have killed tons of people right away. He wasn't completely trying to wipe out humanity. He was leaving room for them to evolve and become something better. Which I think is also a little bit of foreshadowing towards Inhumans, and the missing link from the MCU, which has been mutants, because, yes, because Kit is wearing a Link shirt from Legends of Zelda. The missing link from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the mutants, because Fox is maintaining the rights to X-Men and the word mutants, so they're not even letting Disney / Marvel Studios
they just can't
so they refer to Pietro and Wanda as being enhanced, and that's Strucker from the Hydra has experimented on them and enhanced them.
I was angry that they killed him in the movie.
Yeah,
because he's such a big part in the comics. Like,
he's a huge Captain America villain, and like, are we really just done with Hydra now? Like,
are we sure
Hydra's never done. It's not. That one's hard to say, but it seems like they did.
I mean, like, Ultron would have no reason in a way to like actually keep him around. So when he does when he took the inadvertent selfie there with with the body, like, he has no, like, he had no bigger plan for like you and you and you, although, like, I guess it could be in a way, like, he finds himself in the church and he's just like, everybody's closer to God. I like that. I like the geometry of it. It's interesting that he picked almost like a religious fanatic way of going about like destroying the earth. In
well, he makes so many biblical references, like Noah. That's the one I was just about to say.
And it's like, so I guess he could in a way have like looked at Strucker and gone, I've got a plan for you, but at the same time he was like, I'm going to destroy the earth and just wipe out all life. So that, all that lives is metal, like,
He ripped off Andy Serkis's arm accidentally and was like, oh, you'll be fine. Like, he doesn't sure really understand life.
Yeah. Oh, as you put it, like a kid in a, like, he's got like that childlike mindset. I mean, he was born like 4 days beforehand, but
yeah, and then the line at the end where he's in the final murder bot, and Vision's there to extinguish that last flickering ember of Ultron's program, and he's saying to Vision, "You're so incredibly naive," and Vision's like, "Well, I was born yesterday."
Yeah, Ultron's got him on a way head start, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I definitely appreciated the fact that Ultron and Jarvis went head to head in a cyber battle, and we saw that done in just the representation of the CG.
What I didn't really
and then at the end, you do get the final confrontation of Jarvis being in the new Vision body.
Jarvis seems to be a completely functional AI.
Yeah.
How come he's not evil? How come he doesn't want to destroy the world?
He's an AI without his, like, he is an AI in terms of he's reactive. He doesn't actually have true AI, like, he doesn't have sentience.
Or free will. Yeah.
Yes.
He was lacking that final component of the ability to make decisions and execute. He still needed a user or an operator in order to authorize anything. Yeah. Stark still had the final string that he was holding on to. But yeah, they definitely played the Pinocchio, I want to be a real boy. Like, they didn't just put that in the trailer and like, you're all tangled up in strings. Like,
and then there were two other scenes too. When he first goes to make all his bodies after the showdown in the Stark Tower, you actually hear direct pull of audio from the Pinocchio movie
Yeah.
as the lights start coming on.
Yeah.
You hear that, and then at the end he's singing the song as he's in the jet after he's gotten all beat up. He's in the jet and he's singing the song to himself.
I've got no strings to anyone, so I can play and have my fun. Yeah. Definitely awesome moments. Yeah. I freaking love this movie. I will definitely be owning it at some point.
Extended. I cannot wait for it.
Absolutely. There's so much that
So excited.
was in there that we just can't even get to because it was so amazingly comprehensive and fast, and Ulysses S. Claw, and the way that Banner stuttered when he said Wakanda, so people would be like, wait, what did he say?
Yeah.
Like, just, there was a lot of little moments tied into all the big moments that was just, it was great. And seeing it a second time, I thought it was even greater. Like, I had more appreciation for it.
Yeah.
So it definitely holds up. I'm going to go ahead and say it's my favorite Marvel movie. Yep.
Agreed.
I gotta say the same.
Yeah.
I don't think I can decide yet.
I was hard pressed to be like topped over Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, the original Avengers, all great films, but this one just came in and knocked it out of the park again.
I gotta say, Guardians of the Galaxy was funnier, but this was just a better package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely. I feel like each one gets better, like more polished, like just that they've figured it out.
Yeah.
And the preview for Ant-Man, the Thomas the Tank Engine scene.
Yes.
The first time I saw that, I literally fell out of my chair.
My favorite part of the Avengers movie was this trailer for Ant-Man. And they had the little guy, and he was the little guy, and then there was the other guy, and he was a little guy too, and they were beating each other up on the train. And then the train was Thomas the Tank Engine. It was awesome.
At least it's entertaining.
All right, thanks guys for tuning in. This was obviously not everything, but this is all we had time for tonight to react to the movie. But tune in for more awesomeness in the future. Thanks all for being here and going to see the movie again with me. I was glad to be there with all of you guys.
So much fun.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Boy.
Bye. We're waving again.
We're raving. Goodbye.
Wave goodbye.